Possible astronauts, body doubles, minotaurs, pirates. Okay, let's rank this. Yes, indeed. Done with Series 6, which means I need to rank it. Now, normally, this would have fallen not on a Wednesday, but rather on a day that I was doing other Doctor Who stuff, except I'm running the reviews for the new episodes airing, and it just made more sense to stick it here. So, I have finished Doctor Who Series 6, my rewatch, and that means I need to rank the whole thing. Now, because I count two-parters as one stories, that means that we have 11 of these to rank. Starting at the bottom, working our way up, and number 11 is Wedding of River Song. It's a rough thing when, at least to my estimation, the worst episode of the series is the last one. That was the last taste left in the mouth. If you'd asked me to rank these back when it first aired, I probably would have not put this one at the very bottom, but the thing is, knowing some of the stuff that it sets up, or that stuff that it sets up that it fails to deliver decently on in the end of this, sort of takes the idea of, ooh, I'm excited to see what happens next out of it, and once that's gone, there isn't a lot to recommend this episode. It's a jumble of too many dang ideas. There's a handful of decent scenes, usually based around good character interactions, but there's other parts where the tonal shifts are just an absolute mess, and just trying to deal with the plot knots that this series has tied itself into, it just doesn't quite work. Moving up to number 10, we get to Let's Kill Hitler. Boy, we're on a roll. The showrunner of the time with the bottom two episodes of the series. Whew, that's rough. Let's Kill Hitler has a lot of the same problems that Wedding of River Song does. The reason I put it a little bit higher is because, at least for my taste, the issues that I have with it run a little bit deeper in Wedding of River Song, and there are a few more bright spots in Let's Kill Hitler. Again, most of the good parts based around character interactions, but also some of the plot bits, if you can deal with what a tonal shift this was from the episode that immediately preceded it. I guess I thought they could get away with it because there was sort of a hiatus in between, but boy, it really is jarring if you're just revisiting this stuff. But, you know, there is a light, fun element to it that fits it a bit more taken as a thing unto itself than whatever the heck the vibe of Wedding of River Song was. Again, it's a bit of a mess. It's just slightly less of a mess than Wedding of River Song, at least by my estimation. Number 9, Closing Time. I'm a mild defender of this episode, but not really of the whole episode, only of certain elements of it. I do actually think that the use of the Cybermen in this is pretty good and pretty solid. I think that it's interesting. I think the way that they are defeated is legitimate. I kind of like the stuff with Stormageddon. I like the use of the Cybermets. I thought that was neat, but I do not care for the humor in this one at all. It just makes me cringe. And I know cringe has really kind of become an overused word, especially when it comes to YouTube criticism, but like, there's no other word for it. It's that kind of humor. It's just, awkward, just frustrating, embarrassing, really uncomfortable misunderstandings that go on for way too long. It just doesn't click, which is frustrating because I actually thought the humor worked pretty well in the Lodger, but bringing Craig back for a second go, they just could not recapture it. Number 8, Night Terrors. This one is fine overall. Like, we've gotten through the ones that I think have real legitimate issues, and at this point we're at ones that I'm like, yeah, it was fine, and that's kind of where I am at Night Terrors. I know some people actually really like this one, and while I don't think it's awful, the sort of parenting metaphor that it's being done with it, it's just, for someone who's like a really easy mark for parental stories, because I have a kid, and especially these days, that stuff hits me a lot harder than it used to back when this thing aired in the first place. But, like, at this point, it just didn't connect with me, and it should have. I should have been an easy mark for that, and it still didn't quite get me. So I feel like something's a little bit off with that. Also, it didn't help that I don't find the dolls creepy, just because I don't find dolls inherently creepy, so that part was lost on me as well. Again, it's fine. It just doesn't really have a lot of highlights, at least not for me. Number 7, Curse of the Black Spot. This one I probably have higher than most people will put it because I'm a sucker for pirates. I mean, that's pretty much it. I like the feel and the vibe and the swashbuckling adventure, and I love Amy. I love how excited she is to put on a pirate outfit and wave a sword around. And I actually don't even mind the explanation on this one, as much as it is it's this ancient folklore creature. No, it's aliens. As much as it is that, and I don't love that pattern in Doctor Who. I don't know. It doesn't bug me as much this time. Again, maybe I'm giving it a pass because it's pirates. But look, we've all got our soft spots. Pirates is one of mine. I liked it. Number 6. The Rebel Flesh and the Almost People. At this point, getting into the top half of this, a lot of these I feel like are underappreciated episodes. And at this point, we are dealing with, I think, legitimately good stuff. The bottom end of this series was rough, but from here on out, it's pretty dang solid stuff. And I really do like this two-parter. It's got its little hiccups along the way, especially, God, when we have to deal with that child actor in the second part. That's rough stuff. But the emotions still ring true for a lot of it. And I find the interaction, the way it plays out to be interesting, to be well thought out, to not go as obvious as you would have expected this sort of thing to go. I thought the stuff done with the Doctor and the Ganger Doctor were interesting and fun to watch, and really said a lot, not only about the relationship that Amy especially has with the Doctor, but how the Doctor kind of pushes her to realize her own issues and things. And I really did enjoy that. And plus, the ending and how it sets up what's to come. Boy, that was a kick in the teeth, but in the best way. Number 5, The Impossible Astronaut and the Day of the Moon. So there's a lot I like about it. First of all, I like the silence. I just do. I love them visually, and I love them as a concept, because I will always find them scarier than the Weeping Angels, even though they have effectively the same gimmick. You are in the least amount of danger while you are looking at them. But the mechanics of it are just different enough that's why I find them scarier, because the idea of something getting in your head to change your memory so that you cannot trust your own mind, I find that much scarier than the more visceral scare of the Weeping Angels. Because, look, mental degradation is something that scares me. Like at a philosophical, existential level. That scares the crap out of me. So having a creature that ties into that, yeah, that's going to hit me a bit harder than moving statues are going to. And beyond that, I love the resolution. There's something really triumphant about the Doctor playing that clip. One small step for man, you should kill us all on sight. Oh, that is such a triumphant moment when you realize what it is he's doing. Oh, it's so good. The only reason this two-parter isn't higher, again, if I was doing this ranking back when the thing first aired, it might have been. The only reason I don't put it higher is because I feel like some of the things it sets up, the payoffs aren't great, particularly when it comes to the Impossible Astronaut itself. But self-contained as a two-parter, I really do dig this thing. Number 4, The God Complex. I love the setting. Creepy hotel. I like the sort of labyrinthine nature of the hotel, being home to a Minotaur. Labyrinthine hotel. Labyrinth. Minotaur. Duh. But I really find it wonderfully creepy, the whole idea of all these doors, and it's something you fear more than anything else, and then it turns that fear around into something that it's going to take that away from you, so you don't fear it anymore. So now you praise it, now you worship it, and it feeds on that. It's this twisting of faith. It's this twisting of psychology, of mental state, again, that I think is nicely unnerving. And the way that it gets into the heads of the various characters, the way that's played out, the way it keeps showing Rory the exit because it's got nothing, it can't get anything from him. The idea that Amy's greatest fear is just waiting forever for the Doctor and him not showing up. This episode understands these characters and the guest characters, who are also great, but it understands these characters so well. It's just mwah. Number 3, A Good Man Goes to War. Don't worry, Moffat. I did save you a spot in the top 3 for something that you wrote after you occupied the bottom for this season otherwise. Good Man Goes to War is just energizing. There's something really thrilling about them going for Amy. And I will always love the doctor just, Amelia Pond, get your coat. And then the lights go down. It's like, oh, he is so on top of this. I love it. I love the introduction of Vastra and Jenny and Strax and Dorium. I have fun with the triumph of what they are able to accomplish. And then it all comes crashing down when the baby is a flesh avatar, and Amy sells that horror of realizing she has lost her child. She sells that really well, the desperation screaming for Rory, and her anger at the doctor and River trying to figure out what is going on. And then the thing at the end, realizing who River is, and the music that is played for that. Oh, wow. This is a wonderful emotional roller coaster of an episode. Up, then down, then up again. I live for this sort of stuff. Number 2, The Girl Who Waited. It's hard for me to fully explain why I'm putting this one above Good Man Goes to War, but it's just such a wonderful exploration of Amy as a character and the potential of what she can be for good and ill. And Karen Gillan freaking nails it. She brings so much to both parts, both young Amy and old Amy. And Rory also, it's amazing work, the struggle that he has having to leave her behind. And the doctor's a dick, forcing Rory to be the one to have to make that choice. Oh, that was a coward move to put that in Rory's hands. Oh, it's so emotionally fraught, this episode. The anger, the bitterness, the hope, the failure. This really does encapsulate so much of what I love about Karen Gillan's performance and of Amy as a character. Like, I've mentioned this repeatedly. I've always liked Amy, but doing this revisit has really reignited how much I love Amy. She is a really good character, well thought out, and a lot more fleshed out thanks to Karen Gillan's performance. She brings a lot more than what's on the page. And what's on the page is already pretty good, but she brings such a fully formed character, and this is such a wonderful showpiece for her. Much in the way that Amy's Choice was as well, which I also ranked really high when I did Series 5. I guess I just really love Amy. And finally, taking the number 1 spot, The Doctor's Wife. Because it is just the right mix of sentimental and exciting and funny and touching, and has its little unnerving moments, with the voice that Michael Sheen brings to House, which is nicely creepy, and some of the ways he toys with Amy and Rory. The Doctor getting to talk this way to the TARDIS for the first time, their interactions, their banter, their fighting, and just the ways in which he gets to chew her out, and she gets to chew him out right back. What does it say on the door? It says pulled open. What do? I push! I love the two of them fighting like this bitter old married couple, but the love is still there. It's so great. Like, this whole idea of putting the TARDIS into a body, that should have been stupid and cheesy and tacky and grating. But it's not. It's freaking perfect. Thank you, Neil Gaiman, for giving me what I feel is the best episode of Series 6. That's my ranking. What's yours? Whatever your thoughts are on either my ranking or if you want to share what yours would be, drop something down in the comments and let's talk about it. You can help me out by liking, subscribing if you haven't already. Leaving the comments also helps me along. Plus, I have a Patreon if you want to support what I do and help me continue to grow. It is greatly appreciated. Plus, there's links to other stuff down below. Besides just that, I've got an Instagram now for the Council of Geeks. But if you don't want to do any of that, you don't have to, because end of the day, you're the council. I just run the meetings. And until next time, this council is adjourned.